I am convinced that modern art is one giant conspiracy. I'm convinced that I mean, we know that there were modern artists that were paid by the CIA. We know that now.
Isn't that
Okay.
funny? Like, you talk about that with even some of my friends who have like PhDs in art history,
Mm.
and I mention that, they're like, "That's so weird because I never even read anything about that." I'm like, "Of course, because your
Why would you?
curriculum, yeah, well, your curriculum, it's like this. I was talking, to my friend who's a neurologist, and he said that 50% of everything that's in the textbooks, the medical textbooks, is wrong because it's outdated and it's antiquated. And I said, why don't they change this? Well, too many peer reviewed papers. It's too messy, and people don't want to change things. And I feel like it's the same thing with like art history. It's like the way that art history was written in Jansen and Gardner and all the books that we read in school that are curriculum
Hmm.
are written in a certain way, right? Like, so that gets us into a bigger discussion of why is Gauguin in the museum versus, whoever that we don't know, right? Like, why
Right.
is Pollock? So you're saying it's a conspiracy. Well, we know it is. We know it's a fact. What you're saying is not a conspiracy. I can tell you, I've read books on it. It's an
Mhm.
absolute complete fact. They ushered in modern art. Now, we don't know if Pollock knew. We don't know if Rothko knew. We don't know if Rauschenberg knew,
Mhm.
but they were proxies
Mhm.
to that, right? Because they needed something that was, they needed people like Rockefeller to finance it, people like the CIA to finance it, because they wanted to show free enterprise. And it was counter the social realism of Russia.
Mhm.
So if they would propagate that propaganda with American modern art everywhere, you have this idea that, like, oh wow, this is a new movement. America's free, it's independent, it's individual. But Russia, oh, they're the worst. They're rigid. I mean, think about all the Russian artists like Repin and Fechin, and
Oh, the good
look at these,
stuff.
look at this. Oh god, Fechin. Like, if I mention his name, I get goosebumps because he's so good. I want to punch myself in the head and stop painting. But
Yeah.
and
This,
Repin,
yeah.
Fechin, they're monsters. There's little waves and then there's tsunamis. I would say rep and infection are both tsunamis. But
Yeah.
getting back to what
Mm.
I'm saying is,
Mm.
like, they were pushing social realism, and like anything, whether it's the landing on the moon or putting stuff out there, we had to be the top dog. We have to be the individual. America is democracy. Even when it's not a democracy, it's a democracy because we told you it is, right? And so that's what, no, it's true.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
we're number one, we're the best. You
Mhm.
follow us, we're the top dog, and you bow down before us. And one of those ways was starting this movement of modern art. Now, there's a lot of books out there. People can read it themselves. This is not Andrew and Bua conspiring to say that this didn't happen. This happened.